Hello and welcome in. My name is Felix Reyes, and we are back here streaming. We are in day 6 of these 31 days of best ball. As always, excited to be here with y'all, excited to be drafting alongside of you. We are about to hop on a BBM. I'm about to hit enter. If any of you guys want to hop on and join this draft, we are waiting for one person to hop on. We got our music going. We just had a 6-game preseason little slate here tonight, which was pretty fun, I would say. 6 games on a Thursday night, y'all. On a Thursday night. Really exciting stuff. We got to see Fernando Mendoza's debut. We got a little bit of that. We saw him. We saw a few others. We got to see a little bit of Joe Burrow playing under center. What else did we get today? We got to see Dejon Stribling play today, and boy, did he look good. And I know it's preseason, but something to definitely keep an eye out for as we're drafting here, because there's one thing that we do in these best ball streets. Everybody likes to overreact, and it doesn't matter what we are watching and how meaningful or meaningless those games could be. We are going to react one way or another. So a lot of exciting stuff. Marvin Harrison Jr. caught a touchdown today. We'll see if that does anything to his ADP. And we're not going to get a lot of clarity right now, but I will say this. It was really nice to have options on today versus the other night last week when we got our first game of the year. We had one game, and it was the Carolina Panthers versus the Arizona Cardinals. Today we had, obviously the options that I mentioned. You had Arizona Cardinals versus the Raiders. You had the Chargers and the Texans. All right, we got the 3rd overall pick. What's up, Lito? Welcome back to the stream. It's love season. Yes, sir, it is. Now, that's one guy we'll talk about today as well. Jeremiah Love is this 4th round pick that we got yesterday. And basically, just getting him in the 3rd over here in best balls, is that going to change? All right, we got something a little bit different today. Gibbs and Chase going the 1-2. We're going to get Bijan, which is going to keep our Bijan exposure pretty high. I'm perfectly fine with that. Gladly take Bijan, because usually when you're at that 1-2 spot, that's about the route that I like to hit. So let me go ahead and put this up for you guys. But yes, it is indeed Jeremiah Love season. I want to get this here because sometimes I get asked as far as exposures go. And then I'm going to sit this here. And I guess since we are talking about Jeremiah Love, where does that put us? We are at 18% Jeremiah Love. We got to see Ashton Genty. We got to see, who else did we get to see? Mike Washington Jr. I think Julius Chestnut. We got to see, I was catching a little bit of the end of the San Francisco, Tennessee Titan game just now before hopping on. That's a name I feel like we've been seeing the last couple of years in preseason. So good for him. He's still around. I don't think there's a good shot Julius Chestnut makes this roster for the Tennessee Titans. They got 3 other guys ahead of them. They have Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, and Nicholas Singleton. But that's enough Tennessee Titan running back room, talking about the RB4 over there. It is indeed Love season. Let's see where we get Love today. More than happy to take them at pick number 27. But honestly, it really just depends on what's on the board there for us. But yeah, if you've been drafting lately, he has been going at the end of the 3rd. And like I said yesterday, over on the other site, I was selecting him around pick 37, which is the start of the 4th round. Crazy stuff. All right, we are getting nothing but green boxes here, running backs, kind of the norm with this second round. It seems like all the running backs come off the board here. And then we'll see a little bit of a shakeup at wide receiver. If you're just joining us now, we are drafting from the 103. I ended up with Bijan Robinson. The individual in the second slot chose Chase, who I would have selected at third, but we get a chance at Bijan. More than happy with that. Here's the reality. My 1-2 just stays really strong with those running backs. So Gibbs and Bijan all day for me. So any chance I get at Bijan with the third overall pick, I would gladly take. There goes Brock Bowers at pick number 19. Seeing Hampton, that's another thing to definitely keep our eyes peeled for this first preseason game. We did see a lot of Kamani Valdell. And what we didn't see is Keaton Mitchell out there. So very interested to see what that means. I'm sure we'll hear more. All right, we are on the clock. Neighbors and London goes off the board. I think we're in a good spot here. Let's take A.J. Brown here and pull up. We got a few more picks before we go. But yeah, that is one team that we're obviously going to take a look at. We talked about it yesterday, just overall when it comes to that running back room. And we've been hearing a lot of, hey, they're all going to play this year. Who is going to, and there goes Jeremiah Love. See, this is what's probably going to start happening, y'all. This Jeremiah Love move here. All right, I think I'm going to do something a little bit differently here. I usually pick between George Pickens and Devontae, lean on the George Pickens. I'm going to go ahead and take Breece Hall here. I'm going to start us off with a 2-1 build and go down a different route. If you guys are just joining us for the first time here, welcome. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And hit that notification button. We have been here each and every day for the last couple of days. We are in day 6 of these 31 days of best ball. We've also been drafting all off season. So really excited for everything to come. We have next week, we have a few guests coming on. We got our guy Felix Castro. He's going to be hopping on Tuesday on this channel. On Monday, I'll be going on his channel right around this same time. But prior to that, on this channel, we will be jumping on a little bit earlier. We will be jumping on at 9. I believe, no, we're doing 8 p.m. Central. I can confirm that shortly here. And like I said, I'll make sure to schedule those out for y'all. And I'll be jumping on with our guy JSU, who will be hopping back on the channel. JSU from Run Pure Sports. Excited to have him back on. Kind of taking a look. It's been about a month since we've had him on, so things have shifted. ADP has changed. I'm excited to hear where his exposure is at now with Malik Neighbors and basically his reaction right now with Luther Burden. So he'll be on Monday. I'll hop on Felix's channel shortly after. Then Felix Castro will be on our channel on Tuesday, right around this same time. And then on Thursday, next Thursday, we are going to have fantasy analyst Zane Danani of Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life. So we're excited to get him on the show, talk all the latest news coming out of training camp, these preseason games. We'll recap, and we'll also be doing a draft together. So make sure you guys are locked in there. So like the video, subscribe to the channel so you guys don't miss a thing. And then we'll keep you guys posted as we continue to move on here. Really excited for the regular season. We got a lot of fantasy football for content. Obviously, that's what we do here on this channel. But we're going to have a lot of things for redraft and daily fantasy. So looking forward to that. We're going to talk strategy and we're going to talk start sits, whatever it may be. I have a lot of fun things planned for this upcoming season, and I'll have all the schedules out for y'all as well. So make sure you guys are locked in. All right, let's take a look at the board. We just saw Jeremiah Love go in the 2-3 turn. It's been a minute since I've seen that, to be quite honest. Could be a reaction to tonight's game. He got a total of 14 touches. I believe he had 73 yards and a touchdown. So Jeremiah Love, we've been talking about it. If you guys been watching us here, you know we've been talking about this. I am not worried about what they're saying. And again, it is one game, but that has been the feeling all this time around. All right, I've been saying it. I am not going to overreact on this Luther Burden news. And I'm going to keep taking him, especially now where it feels like we get him more often than not. Before, it seemed like he was constantly getting picked at least a few spots before we went, just because that was kind of how Luther Burden was getting drafted. But the noise around Luther Burden is, honestly, it's just so different wherever you look. Some are very high on him, like we are here, and then some are very bearish on him, and they think he's being overdrafted. There was a chance we might have been able to push him a little bit to the 5th round. I didn't want to take my chances there. I think this is a good spot to possibly take Jameson Williams or DJ Moore. I'll be honest, I kind of like DJ Moore. Let's see if we got DJ Moore at the buzzer here. We sure did. Cutting it close sometimes, right? Doing this for a long time, but that's the way we want to do it. As far as Jameson Williams goes, I like JMO. I do. I just feel that when I look at these profiles here for some of these wide receivers, I want to lean in a little bit more on some of these wide receivers that I think are going to have more target shares, more opportunity. And I do feel that DJ Moore's there. And very often do I draft a Jameson Williams in this scenario with a Luther Burden, just due to the week 17 correlation that they have. And obviously that's very important over here on Best Ball. Some may say that it's no longer important. Some will tell you it is important. But I do know for sure, as someone who plays daily fantasy, that if I have a shot to advance, I do like stacking game environments, and I really love this game environment to be, specific, and it's the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions. It has been two teams that I've been getting very exposed to, so that's something to look at. But the Bears also play Buffalo. I expect that week 15 game to be important for DJ Moore. The game is going to be in Buffalo, so they'll be playing Chicago in Buffalo. And that comment that he made about Caleb Williams, I'm interested to see. DJ Moore is a very interesting personality, character. I feel like he kind of throws shades at times, and then sometimes he doesn't throw it. He's very honest, and he tells you how he feels. But I don't know, these comments made, they were interviewing him during training camp. I mean, you can look this up online. But basically, they were interviewing him while practices were going, and they were asking him basically all the quarterbacks he's played with. They went down the list, and when they mentioned Caleb, the reaction, it wasn't so much what he said, but the reaction to what he said is what kind of rubbed some Bears fans the wrong way. But anywho, interesting stuff. This is what the NFL is, an entertainment business, right? Ben Johnson likes to say that a lot. So sometimes it's good to have that energy thrown out there for the sake of whatever you may want to call it, obviously competitiveness or so. But yeah, that's what happened. So we went DJ Moore there. We have a 2-3 build so far to start us off. We got Bijan Robinson with the 3rd overall pick. And then we went and targeted A.J. Brown, Luther Burden, and DJ Moore on the other end for the wide receivers. Let's take a look here. There goes Tyler Warren, who's starting to move up. I almost called him TJ Warren. For anybody who likes NBA, TJ Warren. There goes Caleb Williams taking off the board. I am intrigued here, obviously, for Drake May. When we get him, we're going to take Drake May here. Not pushing that at all. And then we'll see how this wide receiver spot looks. But we get Drake May to stack alongside AJ Brown. And then I think we are going to go, we can go a few different routes here. This is pick 75. We do got to mention one name that's on the board now. Let's go ahead and take DK Metcalf here. Did not expect to see Cortland Sutton jump there. Pull up the board, but one name down here, Jonathan Brooks. Oh yeah, he's going to be moving up much more now. So the news today was with him was Chuba Hubbard got hurt today during practice. Right now, we don't know the full extent to this injury, but everything already with Jonathan Brooks has been good. And obviously, the main thing with him is if he stays healthy, he's going to probably push to be not only the 1A, but be the guy when it's all said and done. But yeah, Chuba Hubbard is considered currently week to week with his hamstring injury. So yeah, that's not good. That's something to stay locked in for. They might go out there and grab another running back because I think the next guy up in that back room is going to be Trevor Etienne, also known as Travis Etienne's little brother, or Travis Achan, however you prefer to call him. I know he prefers to be called Achan. But Chuba Hubbard had a hamstring injury today. And then, of course, Jordan Tyson re-aggravated his hamstring injury today. That's very unfortunate too. We talked a ton about Jordan Tyson because we also drafted him yesterday. The excitement behind Jordan Tyson, but man, as a player who constantly deals with that same injury, not good to see. So hoping things are good with Jordan Tyson and we don't have to worry about this more. These hamstring injuries can become, it can become a major issue, especially if they deal with it as often as they do. Jonathan Brooks still stays here in the 8th round, but again, would not surprise me if we start seeing him move a little bit more. It seems like not everyone is reacting to the news as quick. So we'll stay locked into that. Alec Pierce has been dropping a little bit. And with his issue as well, his scenario with his injury, would not surprise me if he continues to drop here. And by next week, I expect them to see, man, quite literally, I think he can go as far as the 10th round. So we'll stay locked in there. We're about to pick here. We got a 1, 2, 4. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button to stay locked in. Of course, they take Blake Corum. Whoever's drafting here must know that I was going to go down that route. All right, let's take Sam Laporta here. Let's get our Detroit player here to correlate with Chicago. We got Luther Burden, and we got him there. We also have, obviously, the stack here with New England. So we get a Denver, a Jets, and Kansas City. We already got our Jets guy. We can look there as well. So we see Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins goes off the board there. I am okay here taking Kyle Monangai if he happens to be on the board there for us. If not, I would not take Michael Pittman Jr. here with DK Metcalf already on the team. I would consider Stephon Diggs. But let's go ahead and let's see. What route should we go? I feel really good about those two guys we have there. Let's take Stephon Diggs here and we move forward. All right, we're going to pull up the board here. We're going to get a Washington guy correlated week 15 with Atlanta. Again, everybody has a different vibe, a different feel. When it comes to these correlations, it was very big on before. But again, I am a daily fantasy player, and that is something that I seek for when drafting players, you know, that's usually a strategy I like to also lean in on a lot in these type of formats. Game environment, it matters. It really does. Some games when they go off and you have, I mean, not just all the right pieces, but pieces to these high scoring environments, they pay off big, and they pay off in a big way. In this case, we are chasing $2 million up top in these specific tournaments. And these pods, man, you got to find different ways to not only be unique, but be really locked into certain types of offenses. That has been my lean this year more in best ball, outside of players that we like, right? The my guys and such. Who's the offenses we like the most? And there are times, you know, I've mentioned on this stream several times that I am really in on the Cowboys offense. I think that this Cowboys offense is going to play really well and are going to put themselves in position to be a top 5 offense. Now, to draft Dallas Cowboys players, you probably got to draft them very early, especially the first 2 guys. We had an opportunity to draft George Pickens. I wanted to do something a little bit differently today, given that I typically make that click. And I went with Breece Hall. And for this type of roster construction, we're doing a 1-2-5-1 build here. I feel really strong anchoring with those 2 running backs and then seeing what we have come back this way around. So far, Monangai and Mason were the 2 that came off the board. We'll see what falls our way here. We put ourselves in a really good spot, I believe, with the wide receivers. And then when you have a player like Luther Burden, again, I'm not too worried about things here. I think that he'll be fine to play week 1. And that is basically the latest that we're getting as far as reports go. But you want to also kind of protect yourself on the back end. So adding more wide receivers when drafting guys like that is, to me, important for sure. Jordan Tyson, even with re-aggravating his hamstring, we're seeing him go in the 6th round. Now, real quick question. Did S. Bread do this intentionally and on purpose? And that is when he went back-to-back here with Terry McLaurin. Did he go here, Terry McLaurin? Yeah. And then, no, see, I'm looking at this wrong. But either way, he got Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. Jaden Daniels in the 6th round. We're up on the clock here. Let's see. Romeo Dobbs, Casey, Concepcion. I'm going to tag him there. Yeah, I'm not really in love here with a lot. We're going to take Concepcion. We're going to add another wide receiver here. The running back positions, not very fond of here. You got George Kittle there. We'll see how that looks going into the season. I still believe he doesn't play week 1. But we got Sam Laporta. I don't feel the need to force that position. And then as far as quarterbacks go, this might just be a good spot to take quarterbacks. Yeah, we got Keaton Mitchell and such later on. The tight end drop is big here. I'm going to go ahead and take Baker if he happens to still be here for us. If not, we'll pivot. All right, cool. We're going to take Baker Mayfield here. And then I'll find different ways to stack them. You could do Jalen McMillan, who, although right now, Jalen McMillan, we haven't gotten much from Jalen McMillan. I know he's been out of practice for a while now. And honestly, that's never good. The no timetable stuff really, doesn't make me feel good. All right, Jalen McMillan. Let's see. Still without a timeline for return. That's been honestly the latest stuff we've been getting. It says, okay, he did return August 11th to participating in individual position drills at practice. So, okay, that's actually pretty good news. I'm happy to hear that. We'll see if he happens to be there. But I like Jalen McMillan. I think he's got an opportunity to play well here in this offense. I think, obviously, last year we didn't get to see much of him because he was injured. But coming out of college, University of Washington, I really liked that trio. It was Rome Odunze, it was Jalen McMillan, and it was Jalen Polk, who We got news not too long ago, about a week or two ago, that he retired. So things didn't pan out so well for Jalen Polk, who got drafted by the New England Patriots, got cut, went to the Saints, and then now retired. But Jalen McMillan is still in the league. And as long as he stays healthy, this is a pretty good opportunity for him to really put himself in a good spot. I know our guy, Zane Donani, who is all over everything right now as far as the news and information. He mentioned in the Buccaneers unofficial depth chart, it shows Jalen McMillan being the X receiver, and Ted Hurst is currently listed as the backup. You got Chris Godwin, who will probably be playing the slot. And then we've been hearing Zach Robinson talk a lot about Emeka Egbuka playing the Z. So there's a lot of room here for these wide receivers to really not only play these certain roles, but who's going to be the number one option for Baker, especially with Mike Evans leaving and heading over to San Francisco. So there is an opportunity there for guys to kind of take on a bigger role, and we'll see how that gets distributed once this regular season starts. And we are seeing tight ends fly off the board. Obviously, we drafted Sam Laporta, so we're not really in position for that. I think round 12, round 13 here is when we can start looking at guys like Jalen McMillan. Could probably hold off. Actually, let's aim for round 13 if we could. We definitely need to focus at the running back position. I'm hoping here. Okay, Keaton Mitchell goes off the board. We got Woody Marks, Tank Bigsby, and Tyler Algier. Didn't we just get news today? And this is my job to give you guys this. I believe Saquon got hurt today. And listen, if Saquon gets hurt, this is going to be huge for Tank Bigsby. Obviously, hoping things are well. Yeah, seemed to tweak his left ankle late in practice was the last thing we heard. All right, we're up on the clock. Sounds like Woody Marks has a big role on this team. Let's go ahead. Well, I should say a bigger role than we expected, because his role was pretty big last season. And then now, obviously now with the addition of David Montgomery, but they love him. What's up, Petey? Welcome back. Good to have you on. We are here. We are live. We are on our first BBM. So, Petey, if you want to jump on with us and draft alongside of us in this next one, I'll give you guys a heads up when that starts off for us. All right. So we see CJ Chig. I think, this is when I forget this stack, and we can go Tyler Algier or Bigsby. I'm going to take Bigsby here. I got a ton of Tyler Algier right around this area. I do think Algier still has a solid role. We really talked up Jeremiah Love and basically his debut today and how good his performance was. Let me go ahead and pull up the board for y'all here so you guys can follow along. There goes Jalen McMillan. That's just me saying I'm going to value truly the running back position and not fall too behind. Even after I said what I said about Jalen McMillan, there's still other guys that we can aim for, like Ted Hurst, and hopefully we can, maybe even Cade Otton. We'll see how things look as we keep moving forward here. But yes, there's been a lot of news. That Saquon Barkley news, we'll wait to hear a little bit more on that. But that seemed to be what happened earlier today. We saw Detroit play tonight. We'll see how Isaac Tesla looks for the regular season, someone we've been drafting a ton. Cincinnati, we mentioned a little bit about, because we saw Joe Burrow is going to be playing a lot more under center this upcoming season. And man, was that hard to watch, because when you watch your starting quarterback get sacked, I think he got sacked twice today. Yeah, that's not fun to watch during the first preseason game. So fingers crossed Joe Burrow stays strong and healthy, because we all know how good Joe Burrow is when healthy. He's arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league, easily top 2, top 3 in my opinion. We did see Green Bay. I'll be honest, I did not like a lot of what we saw from Green Bay. Now, granted, it is week 1 of the preseason, so we're not going to overreact there. But that offensive line, and even with their starters, we have been mentioning they're going to be one of the worst offensive lines in the league. But we did see a lot of Marshawn Lloyd out there. Got all the reps with the ones. Obviously, no Josh Jacobs, but that was good to see because we haven't seen much of Marshawn Lloyd because he has been hurt. We did get to see Damian Martinez out there for a little. Didn't get to do much with his 8 carries. I believe he had 20 yards. But yeah, not much was really happening as far as the Green Bay game goes. Now, Pittsburgh, that is one I will touch on right now. PD says Tank should be way higher, in my opinion. Pretty much a cheap Blake Corum. Interesting. Now, I don't know. I've heard and I've seen some reports that they'll dial back a little bit of what they have Saquon Barkley do as far as how much touches he's going to get. But I still think he plays such a big role in that offense this year, especially with Jalen Hurts coming on to a new offense. Man, we'll see. I don't know if I'm there yet in thinking his role is going to be that much higher, but I do believe that his role is going to be obviously higher than last season's. So that's already a good thing. And then we know for sure if something were to happen in front of him, meaning with Saquon, in this case, who got hurt during this practice today, yeah, Tank's going to be flying off the board for sure. We are about to come up here and then we can touch on Pittsburgh a little bit there, which was very interesting. There's a guy I have not been drafting enough of or much of, to be honest, that we probably need to do a little bit more of. PD says, Tank's a more established NFL runner than guys that go above him too, was pushing a team off the field in Jacksonville. Yeah, man. I hated that they traded him away because I mean, most of us, if you were drafting Tank, you really did believe that Tank was going to be the guy that year. All right, we're back up on the board here. I like the idea of getting Jadon Blue here. And then we have, let's see here. So we tag Jadon Blue. Let me go ahead and draft them. And then wide receiver wise, this is honestly when I do click Adonai Mitchell more. So we'll see if Adonai Mitchell is still on the board here for us to draft. At quarterback, we've seen some guys already go. We have tight ends. We have running backs. And then we mentioned, and I'll touch in on some of these guys as well. But we are here, round 15. This is our first BBM of the night. If you guys are just joining us, welcome back to the stream. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button to stay locked in to all the great things we have coming your way. We have many guests next week. I'll make sure to bring that up here shortly. Once again, I think the screen just stalled for a second, or this draft did. I've seen that happen a few times over here on Underdog. All right, we are back up. We're going to take our guy, Adonai Mitchell, here in round 15. So far we got a 2-5-7-1 build. Okay, I like this a lot more, especially given with how we started with 2 running backs. All right, we were talking about Pittsburgh. If you guys got to see some of it, breaking down what we saw, we got to see Drew Allard. Now, here's been my take with Drew Allard. Had a really good game today. First game of preseason, given a lot of more opportunities after Mason Rudolph went off the field. He really looked a lot better. I think one of my biggest takes with him while he was at Penn State was I just felt James Franklin was kind of holding him back. The system was holding him back a little bit. I think that all the tools and traits was always with Drew Allard. He looked really bad at times in college. And obviously that kind of turned people away from him. But I don't feel like the system in itself for a while was really benefiting him much. And there was still so much growing and developing for a player with that much traits. So I'm excited to see him go to Pittsburgh and not be rushed at all. We all know Aaron Rodgers, as long as he is healthy, he will start all 17 games. And even if he wasn't, healthy. I think they're just going to bring out Mason Rudolph. I think it would be a very rare scenario if they were to push Aller in that case. So I think he's in the perfect developmental stage right now. And Aaron Rodgers has been in those rooms, he himself, behind a guy like Brett Favre, Jordan Love behind him. So if there's anyone to be in that kind of environment, then obviously Mike McCarthy being around all that as well, I think this is going to be really good for Drew Aller. Now, Drew Aller had a really good game, right? Jeremy Bernard had a really good game. And it looks, I mean, he, as good as he looked today, would not surprise me if he really does carry on a much bigger role this year. And I've seen there have been a lot of people I've seen that are very bullish on him. But me, myself, honestly, in the later rounds, I just haven't clicked enough of him. And I think that's going to start changing. Now, you can call it an overreaction of tonight's game. That is perfectly fine. But when drafting some of these guys, especially when I have drafted quite a bit of Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback 3 late in drafts, like right around here when he is still on the board. And then I always feel like when you get in Aaron Rodgers, he feels like the type of quarterback, in my opinion, especially when I consider things like daily fantasy. He's like one of those guys I like to double stack with versus just a single stack, which in this team that we currently have constructed, we have DK Metcalf. So I just feel like Jeremy Bernard is that kind of player that we should consider, honestly. Here, we'll see if he is still on the board. Is he on the board? All right, just making sure, because Pat Bryant has been flying up boards as well. We got Jerry Jeudy. All right, we are up next. We got Aaron Rodgers here. We do have Jeremy Bernard. Now, my question is, who do I push here? I do have 7 wide receivers. So let's go Aaron Rodgers in hopes that whoever, and hopefully they're not here, is watching, doesn't go with him. But we also have Ted Hurst that we can consider so that we can grab for Baker Mayfield. Love AD. Jets are going to throw so much. Their defense sucks. Could be similar to the Arizona offense with Brissett last year. That's another team we'll touch on right now. Arizona very well could be. I'll take AD over Jaden Higgins. Wow. I do love AD Mitchell. Actually, I don't think that's that hot of a take, but currently based off ADP, it really is. But I'm with you though. I'm not against that at all. All right, we are back here. Let's go ahead and take Jeremy Bernard since we talked him up a little bit. And then I get the double stack for him. So we get Jeremy Bernard, and then we can leave this wide receiver room basically alone. But we get DK Metcalf, Jeremy Bernard after talking him up right here. Round 17 seems just fine for Aaron Rodgers. I just mentioned how I want to double stack a player like that. And I feel we got that there. And then there's other routes that we can go with Baker Mayfield. Not too worried about it. Then we got one tight end, and that's Sam Laporta. Kind of puts us in a good spot here. But this is round 17. So do we get Cade Otton to drop to us? I don't think he will. I've seen crazier things. If not, don't need to force that stack. But I do want to get another tight end. So we were talking about Pittsburgh. Let's see here. Los Angeles. Let's talk Arizona since we just mentioned Arizona. PD just mentioned Arizona. As far as like how that offense looked, yes, last year for fantasy purposes. But man, I have some questions about this Arizona team. Now, I have not been extremely down on them because I've been drafting a lot of Jeremiah Love and Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 guys that I've been drafting a ton of. But after even seeing these 2 preseason games, right, I think Mike LaFleur is really just showing you that his offense works. And if you just go based off the trees he comes from, right, the Shanahan tree and playing, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that this offense works. So we'll see how Jacoby Brissett looks. We saw a little bit of what Carson Beck could do. Quarterback play is going to be huge for that. But as far as play calling goes, so far I'm intrigued. I am intrigued from what we could see in Arizona. Now, the defense in itself, I don't think they're going to be good, and that's what's not going to help them. But for fantasy purposes, we're not really too worried about that, right? Because that's going to put us in position to get a lot of fantasy points if the Arizona team is playing from behind. So something to definitely keep an eye out for. We got to see a nice little run from Jeremiah Love today. Got to see a spin move from I don't really have to go too crazy with Jeremiah Love. If you guys have been watching my stream, you guys know this already. I am all in on Jeremiah Love. I think he is absolutely on one of those top tiers. Dare I say he's a generational running back, which a lot of people are afraid to use that term because it does get overused a ton. But if you guys are on and you guys haven't watched my interview with Mike Golick Jr., former Notre Dame, currently co-host of ESPN's The Golicks with his dad, Mike Golick Sr. He was on our channel over, when was it? In April, a week before the NFL draft. He was breaking down players, obviously talking a lot about his Notre Dame guys. And we had a whole conversation about Jeremiah Love and just basically how Jeremiah Love was honestly the best prospect in that draft. And getting selected third overall, honestly, shouldn't shock anybody given how talented he is. So if you haven't checked that interview, if you haven't checked that video, make sure to check it out. Really good stuff there with Mike Golick Jr. back in April, especially touching on Jeremiah Love. All right, we're about to come back up here. Got Evan Ingram. Kate Otten did not make it to us, and that's fine. Gunnar Helm in the 18th round. That I have yet to see. I don't remember the last time we saw that. Wow. Would have been nice for Gunnar Helm to drop to us, right? Sheesh. That is quite the drop. I have not seen that. We got to see a little Michael Mayer. He caught a touchdown today. That was fun to see. Kobe Park. Of course, Kobe Parkinson goes right there when I was about to select. Yeah, let's go Darren Waller. He just signed on. I don't think there's going to be much push. I like Mitchell Evans. I don't think for fantasy purposes we should be too worried about Mitchell Evans. I think Darren Waller is going to give us exactly what we want over here on Underdog with the half PPR. We just need him to run pure on touchdowns. George Halani goes next. And then we'll see who Mr. Irrelevant could be Mr. Relevant in this draft is. And they're going to probably burn the clock. I like Arizona, but I hate 1/4 of their games before the fantasy playoffs are against the Seahawks and the Rams. And then Braylon Allen as the final pick. Not a bad pick there at all. So this is the board. We'll recap that. Yeah, I mean, that's Seahawks and Rams. They're going to play them twice. That is their division. So I get you, man. I get it. But again, those game environments, a lot of fantasy points can still come out of it. And a guy like Jeremiah Love can still catch balls out of the backfield. Lethal says Love, McBride, Harrison, and Wilson. If Brissett is halfway decent, they could be a fun offense. Fun offense for sure for fantasy, man. I agree. I think there's enough talent there. And Brissett was putting up really good fantasy numbers last year when he came in for Kyler Murray. So they just paid him. I'm not overreacting this Carson Beck thing. Listen, Carson Beck is going to start at some point this year and will start games. But for now, if Jacoby Brissett is winning them games, they're going to keep him on as long as they can and then eventually pass it off to Carson Beck to see what they got. It's really going to be dependent on how many games they win. That's pretty much locking them for scoring less than 20 points over their 4 games. Their playoff schedule is probably the best of any team, though. It really is. If you guys don't know the playoff schedule, the Arizona Cardinals, Week 15, play the New York Jets. Week 16, they play the Saints at New Orleans. And then Week 17, they play the Raiders. So all dome games. The last, or I should say, yeah, they're all dome games here because Arizona, they play at Arizona, Week 15. Week 16, they go over to New Orleans, which is a dome. And then Week 17, they play in Arizona again. So all dome games for those playoff. I really like that schedule as well. All right, let's recap this. If you guys want to hop on a BBM with me, we're going to do that shortly here. We got a 3-5-8-2 build, very popular build, I would say, and one that I tend to lean on. we have Drake May, Baker Mayfield, Aaron Rodgers. At running back, we have Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Woody Marks, Tank Bigsby, and Jadon Blue. At wide receivers, we have A.J. Brown, Luther Burden, DJ Moore. We got A.J. Brown to correlate with our guy Drake Moore. I can't speak right today, guys. Drake May. A.J. Brown to stack alongside Drake May. We got Luther Burden. We got DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, Casey Concepcion. We got Adonai Mitchell and Jeremy Bernard. We got DK, Jeremy Bernard for Aaron Rodgers. I just mentioned trying to do different things. And I do like when we draft Aaron Rodgers where we do, like in round 17 or such, I enjoy trying to grab two pieces of his team. And in this case, we didn't have to get Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf, which we're paying a high dollar price for as far as their ADPs. We get Jeremy Bernard, the promising young rookie, who played pretty well today, had a really nice debut. And then at tight end, we got Sam Laporta and Darren Waller. Well, if you guys missed the news, Darren Waller, I believe, signed yesterday with the Carolina Panthers. If you've been watching Darren Waller, he could take time off from the league, go rap, and then come back and score a bunch of touchdowns. That is Darren Waller in a nutshell. So, yeah, that is what we have here. Let's go ahead and draft another team. If you guys want to hop on here, I'm going to give you guys a second. I give this team an 8.7. Please don't back issue 8.7. I'll take that. I like that rating. All right, we're going to go ahead and select here. If you guys want to jump in. We are waiting for 3 people. We go ahead. If we got 3 spots left, if you guys want to take it. Now we got 2 spots. All right. We got 2 spots. Best Ball Mania. If you guys are joining us for the first time, welcome. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are in day 6 of 31 days of drafting. Why 31 days? It's not just the number everyone tries to attack. It is 31 days from the moment we drafted to the kickoff. NFL kicks off by the end of all this. And then we are going to switch over to a lot of redraft and daily fantasy stuff. So I'm excited. He said, I wish I could. I got to travel to another state to draft. Man, that sucks. It's unfortunate, but all good, man. Got a bunch of slows going there. There you go. I'm sure you're ripping through those. That's cool. We have these. Let's go ahead and see here. So we were talking about Jeremy Bernard. We were kind of going through some of these. We got one more spot if someone wants to take that. Los Angeles, we got to see Trey Lance out there for a good portion of the game. He played about 2.5 quarters, and then we saw DJ from Florida State. Prior to that, Oregon State and Clemson before all of that, where we thought he was going to be a really good quarterback. And unfortunately, things really fell off at Florida State because honestly, at Oregon State, I thought he was starting to look and he was really thriving over there with our guy, Damian Martinez at Oregon State. But anyway, the Chargers, we saw a lot of Kamani Valdell. We were talking about how that impacts now when we don't see Keaton Mitchell out there. The Raiders were out there playing. Fernando Mendoza was looking pretty good. And then we got to see with Fernando Mendoza, we saw Malik Benson out there. Jack Besh caught a touchdown. Michael Mayer caught a touchdown. And then we saw Ashton Genty. Mike Washington Jr. ripped off a long one. All right, we got the 11th pick in this draft. We got a ton of badges here. Should be a fun one. Gibbs, no shock here, goes 101. And then what else did we have today? So we had the Raiders and then the Niners. That was a big one. Dejon Stribling looked really good today. That was fun to see. Dejon Stribling. There's going to be a lot to look. I mean, there's so much opportunity for that wide receiver room for these guys to really take a step up, given the guys in front of them and their injury history. So I would not be surprised if they go and pick up someone with cuts happening in the next week or two. So things can start shifting a little bit differently there. So we get Gibbs, Bijan, Chase, Nakua, St. Brown, Taylor, JSN. So we get CMC probably pushed here to the 8th or the 9th spot. We'll see how that looks. Mendoza is going to mirror what Dart did last year. Super undervalued. I like Mendoza a lot, man. I think Mendoza is going to be a really good player. Now, I don't think he carries the same rushing upside as Jackson Dart does, but I can see him having a strong year, and given how many games he starts, I'm like 18% in BBM. Yeah, I am right around there. I'm at 20% right now. All right, we're on the clock. CeeDee Lamb just went off the board. I haven't been drafting a lot of Justin Jefferson. This is our time to draft him. There we go. We got Justin Jefferson, and then the news this week was that Kyler Murray was officially given the starting quarterback role, which is very important. We got Saquon, Kenneth Walker here. Let's go ahead. I usually take Kenneth Walker here. I'm going to do something different. Let's go ahead and take some Brock Bowers. I'm going to take Brock Bowers. I want to do different builds. I want to add a little bit more. I love me some Brock Bowers. And given the places and the times that I'm drafting, I usually don't get a lot of Brock Bowers lately. And honestly, I was getting a ton of Brock Bowers earlier on. Where are we now with Brock Bowers? I think we've dropped a bit, because earlier on, I felt like we were selecting Brock Bowers consistently. We're at 11% with Brock Bowers. Yeah. So we're going to up that exposure a little bit here, and then really just push ourselves to do a different build. So we get a corner spot here with the 11th overall pick. So it gives ways for us to have things drop our way. Bowers with good QB play could nuke. And honestly, we know Kirk Cousins loves his tight ends. So I expect Kirk Cousins to start the year. And then there's nothing better than a tight end to be a really good, dependable, target for a young quarterback once Mendoza comes on in as well. I'm with you. I think Brock Bowers is going to have a really great season. Obviously, had he not had the tight end position and he was a wide receiver, he would probably be a top 5 pick. Maybe that's a hot take for you, but I really do believe that. I think that plays a major role here simply because of the position eligibility here, who he is. He's a tight end for fantasy, and when you're drafting him, you are not drafting someone you could slot in your multiple wide receivers. So, whoa. Colston Loveland in the 2nd round. That might be a first that I have seen in a while or at all this offseason. Now, I do believe that Colston Loveland, when it's all said and done, is going to give you that ADP by the end of the season. But to draft them now, it is quite the move. I'm assuming they probably wanted Brock Bowers and we took him a little earlier. Yeah, I have not seen Colston Loveland. That is an interesting click, y'all. I don't even know if that went quick. Did that clock go out? It almost seemed like that selection was clicked really quick. I don't know if it was someone they starred and had him on cue. He said, holy smokes, that dude's on tequila. Yeah. All right. We were seeing some weird things yesterday. Weird to me. I saw Jonathan Taylor go 101 yesterday. I'm assuming that individual wanted more exposure, if we want to say. I saw Malik Washington, I think, get drafted in the 11th round. Dalton Kincaid was taken in the 8th round above a ton of tight ends too. So, yeah. Crazier things have happened. That's for sure. We're seeing a big run at wide receiver here. Breece Hall gets selected there. We'll see if we get Jeremiah Love here again. One of the biggest things in these best ball streets is folks overreacting to news. And one thing's for sure, as I've mentioned here many times, we draft Jeremiah Love here on this channel. We have no issues with that. We have, since this is best ball, we like to talk about exposure. Jeremiah Love, where are we right now? We are at 18% Jeremiah Love, which is, pretty solid, I would say. A little over the market. Let's see what we get here. We're seeing the wide receiver run go crazy right now. Interesting. There goes Jeremiah Love get taken there. We got Trey McBride. Now, I would say about a month ago, I used to flirt with teams like this, the Trey McBride, Brock Bowers. But I feel with the way ADPs are shaping up right now, I don't want to. There we go. Okay, so they took that away from me. Given the running back still on the board, let's go ahead. Let's take some T. Higgin here. We're going to go ahead and take T. Higgin. Okay. Yeah, doing something very different here. I love this. I love being challenged and doing something. Okay, so Javonte Williams goes. We're back up on the board. I don't want to take Josh Jacobs here. Let's take our guy Jalen Waddle. All right, and this is the type of start we're going to do here. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. We're 20 picks away from the next one. Yeah, we're definitely playing around here with this build. I'm intrigued. Let's see how this turns around. This is one of the weirdest round 1 and 2 I've seen. Yeah, not your team, but just the board. No, I agree. Yeah, the Loveland one is the one that really jumps up. Kenneth Walker dropping to pick number 20 is pretty nice here for the person here in the 5th spot. What is that? Game changer 413. Travis Achan there. That's also been someone we've been seeing. I keep Etienne Achan. I keep going back and forth with him. But anywho, he is there. So this Pats went with 3 running backs after that. CeeDee Lamb selection. Josh Allen going in the middle of the 4th round. That is quite the value here. Rome Odunze jumping up. Okay, so now we're kind of seeing this room here. Obviously, this is going to the person that went with Loveland. This could just be this person letting everyone know, I don't think Luther Burden's going to be okay. I mean, I'm just trying to read the room here and tell the story for ADub 511 because he took Rome Odunze in the 4th round above some other wide receivers. Garrett Wilson dropping to pick 44. Now that is quite. There goes Luther Burden there. So we see 4 wide receivers. Yeah, this lobby is this lobby is going to bring us some fun stuff here for sure. For sure. Pure entertainment. And if you guys are here enjoying the stream and enjoying all of this as we're breaking down this board and how things are shaping up, make sure to like the video. Please like the video. Support the channel by subscribing to it and hitting that notification button. We have been announcing the list of guests for next week, and we have a few other ones possibly getting lined up real soon, and I'll be able to announce that. But next Monday, we are going to be hopping on a little bit earlier, 8 p.m. Central here. We're going to get JSU from Run Pure Sports. He was already on our channel here about a month ago, so we're excited to have him back to talk all the latest news and how ADP is shaping up now in August. So he'll be on with us. And then after that, I will be hopping on our boy Felix Castro's channel. Excited to do that. Felix Castro won the DK Millie Maker back in season 2. So he won the $1 million up top. It's pretty big, man. It's a big deal winning that tournament. So I'm excited to hear his strategy and how he went about that. And then we're going to bring him back next day. He's going to hop on our channel here. That'll be Tuesday night. And then on Thursday, if you guys have been following X, Twitter, all the latest training camp news, all the news all over the off season, Zane Donani, who's been doing an excellent job, will be coming on our show, fantasy analyst now for Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life. Really excited to have him on our channel to talk all the latest information, his love for Parker Washington. I'm loving and want to hear a little bit more on how he's kind of attacking that, especially with his price going up. So he'll be on our channel here next Thursday. So make sure you guys are all locked in. Hit those notification button and subscribe, I should say, just to make sure you guys don't miss out. All right, we are about to come up here. Wow, I am really intrigued to now see how this board looks. Hopefully here we can go running back. We'll see. All right, we get Travion Henderson or Price. I'm going to go ahead and get Henderson here. And then Price. Yeah, I think that's the route to go here. All right. They're both by week 11. Not going to let that impact anything there. If we had more running backs, I probably would have considered there like a Joe Burrow since we have T. Higgins, but not the end of the world. I like that. All right, we bounced back. I think we got two decent running backs here to kind of build and to set us up here with our build. The Etienne ADP drop makes 0 sense. 2025 Bashal Tutin is going to make more snaps than 2026 Kamara, and he's arguably in a better situation because of the division he plays in. I agree. I think he's going to be. I think what's making him drop a lot is a lot to do with kind of the information we're getting about Alvin Kamara, possibly, splitting a little bit there with him, but I'm in agreement. I mean, listen, if I was in position there to draft him, if Etienne keeps dropping here and we're in that need of a running back, I would absolutely be kicking that name. They paid him a lot of money, and as we say here on this channel, and many say as well, follow the money. So being 35% Parker with a lot in the 70s earlys feels really good. Yes, that is where you want to be. Getting that discount. A lot of that is like how we talk about Stephon Diggs. Getting him in round 13 and 14 allowed you to create much different builds because now he's going round 8 or 9. Really just depends what draft room you're in. Man, my guy in the third spot was able to land Joe Burrow alongside of Chase. So that worked out perfectly for him there or her. And then we see in the one spot, Jahmyr Gibbs, Pickens, Neighbors, Swift, Williams, and now Hurts. So we're going to see a little bit of a run here at quarterback. Now, if you are drafting Colston Loveland in the second round and you're getting Rome Medusa in the fourth round, you better make sure you get Caleb Williams. And they got Caleb Williams there at pick number 5. So they were able to land him and get that stack set up. So that worked out perfectly. I can't imagine Kamara is better than Tuin. At this point of his career, definitely not the same explosive. It really felt like New Orleans was trying to get rid of him last year. And everything that happened with that whole story, it really felt, there was a point where I thought Kamara was not going to be on the Saints. I almost felt pretty confident that Kamara was going to be on another team. And then things shifted differently. But yeah, usually organizations, when it comes to their players, a lot of those times, especially a player like Kamara, you would think they were a little more loyal to him. But it seems like both parties weren't on the same page. And now obviously that has shifted and changed, which if you do believe that and think that they really didn't want to bring him back necessarily and still found a way to bring him back, you can lean in on why you should be getting Travis Etienne for sure. So there's different ways you could tell yourself that story. All right, we're getting a big run here at wide receiver. I'm happy we selected R3. Kind of puts us back more on that balance side of things with the 2-3-1 build. We have not gotten a quarterback here. Not too worried about that. We're a few picks away. Let's check out how the board looks right now. We got guys like Prescott and Herbert out there. We got Brock Bowers, so we're in good spot. We did mention Jonathan Brooks earlier. We'll see if he ends up here. We might be able to push him back in the 8th round if we get a chance at him. Nope, Jonathan Brooks goes. A lot of with the Jonathan Brooks, it would not shock me if he starts flying up the board, obviously due to what just transpired. All right, let's go. I think we're just going to go. We're going to go Rico Dotto here. And then that answers our guy, PD. What's your thought on Rico Dowdle? Listen, man, I just think that backfield, you are really just, it's not Kyren, Blake Corum for me in the sense of drafting. Because, right, we're getting Kyren a lot earlier than we're getting Corum. But we're literally drafting Dowdle and Warren a lot closer. Obviously, in this draft, it looks a little bit different here. I'll answer that question shortly here. We have, I don't want Corum as much as I like Corum. Too many bye week 11s for that running back room. Would have loved a wide receiver. I think this is a good time to take Dak. Yeah, let's take Dak. There's still ways to add things for Dak. We're going to take Dak Prescott here. Get a few spots off of ADP. We were talking about Warren, right? Warren, that's actually higher than I've seen him go. So pick 63. But typically we're seeing Dotto and Warren kind of go not too far off from each other. So to answer your question, PD, I really just think it's a flavor thing for you, right? I've been leaning a little bit more on the Rico Dowdle end. I don't mind drafting Jalen Warren. It's like I don't really have a strong take when it comes to those two guys in that backfield. I do feel JSU has mentioned this on the show recently that Jalen Warren could have a little bit more of that Kenny Gainwell role where a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's not playing at the level he played before, he's a lot older now. It's going to take a lot of those check down passes, and that's going to help benefit him, right? Because, he doesn't want to get sacked. He's also a pretty good pass protector as well. So those are the things that keeps him on the field. And when you're looking at both running backs, like just real life, I do think Jalen Warren's a more talented running back. But what I like about Rico Dowdle is that we got to see a lot of big moments from him last year, including that big 200 rushing yard game that he had last year. So again, I think we're just splitting hairs at this point. I don't mind taking Rico like I did right there. I thought Rico fit perfectly with what I wanted to do there. And I think they are obviously going to lean in a little bit more on the run game, just given their quarterback play. So hopefully I answered your question correctly, but I think that room in itself is very different. So like Jonathan Brooks versus Chuba Hubbard, even going away from the injury that happened today, the hamstring injury that happened to Chuba Hubbard I'm talking about. Originally, I was just all in on Jonathan Brooks there. The only times I would have taken Chuba is when he would drop significantly. And in this case, he is dropping a little bit. People are still taking him, but when I would see him even fall somewhere near the 9th round, I would take him just due to ADP drop. But I had a firm position when it came to that running back room. I felt stronger about Jonathan Brooks, and thankfully I got to draft a lot of Jonathan Brooks when he was cheaper. What's up, Jeremy? Welcome, man. Welcome. It's been a while, man. What's good? He said Brooks is definitely moving up. Yes, 100%. That is with that news. So call me delusional, but I firmly believe Rico is a top 15 running back talent-wise. I see him taking over the 65% role, and Warren could be the change of pace guy. They had Warren drop 10 pounds in the off season. Yeah, man. Again, I don't think anything you're saying there I'm really against. I don't have much of a strong argument. I can absolutely see that. But yeah, we haven't had a really good read in that room right now. I feel like Jalen Warren is more of the Aaron Rodgers guy, and then Rico Dowdle is the Mike McCarthy guy. So we'll see how that plays out. There goes Ja'Cory Krosky. Merritt was hoping he would be there for me. I think the route we go here, Brock Purdy goes off the board. Let's go ahead and take Matthew Golden here. Like to add another wide receiver to this room. We could go Bo Nix, and then he goes, and then Jordan Love goes there. Let's take Kyler. I haven't taken much Kyler as of late. But then I also look at this running back room and I go, yikes. Things are shifting here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Kyler, and then we'll add Dak there shortly. All right, let me pull up the board here. We're going to get our two quarterbacks there. Jeremy, no, I will not be doing another BBM. This is my second one right now. Since I'm drafting every single day till the NFL kicks off, I'm going to hold off, and I'm going to do another one. But make sure, man, hop on tomorrow. Check us out here. We're going to be doing that. So, yeah, for sure. Every time you go on, it seems like I'm on anymore. All right, we got, didn't Dowdle leave Carolina because he wanted a bigger role? Yeah, partially that was a part. I think a lot of it too was, Jonathan Brooks is a focus for them. They already had Chuba Hubbard, who signed an extension deal with them as well. So I think there was a few things that played off there. And then they didn't really value Dowdle at the very end as well. So I think there was a lot more things that kind of brought him away. But yeah, he signed a deal with Pittsburgh in hopes that he would have a much stronger role. Again, we'll see how that looks. Then we have McCarthy knows what was squandered in Dallas when they didn't use him enough. He's going to know that Rico's that dude. Yep, you're right. And that's why I feel like Dowdle is Mike McCarthy's guy, actually, and really going to give him more opportunities. But yeah, we'll see, man. I'm interested. I'm really, really interested to see how that backfield plays out. Pittsburgh is really not one of those offenses I am like staring at high, but of course, bringing in a coach like Mike McCarthy, who is offensive minded, you know, gets us more intrigued and interested. Had this been Mike Tomlin again, and let's say Arthur Smith in that running back room, yeah, this is a clear, like, stay clear from not really trying to think and overthink this way too much. All right, Jeremy, have a good night, man. That's what he said. I think McCarthy convinced him that he's going to get that workload. Yep. We'll see. I like the take, man. And again, let's see where we're at while we're pulling all this up here. I can kind of show you where I'm at as far as exposure goes to both of them. Oh, yeah, you're going to laugh. Literally, Jalen Warren, 14%, Rico Dottle, 14%. So basically, everything I just shared is exactly where I stand with both guys. So the thoughts are aligned with the exposure on both guys. All right, we got to bounce back here. We got a 2-3-4-1 build. This lobby has been interesting for sure. We have 3 running backs, 2 with the same bye weeks. We got a lot of young guys. Hey, listen, PD, I'll tell you what, Rico Dotto better be all that you are sharing, PD. And that's not to say that I don't believe you. I'm really hoping he is for this specific roster construction, because we're going to need Dotto to be that dude for us here. He says, I am 31%, Rico 13%. Yeah, I love it. Hey, man, I would hope that you have much more exposure given your strong take here. I think this makes sense to get Jake Ferguson here, given that we have Dak. I want to make sure we stay correlated with him. We had Kincaid, Andrews, and Goddard. What's up, Julio? Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. Look at DeJohn Stribling. Has a really good game today. Debut game, and folks are going to be drafting more of him. All right, we are going to, I think this is where we go Tyron Tracy over Woody Marks. We have Dak Prescott and Ferguson, so we get a little bit of that correlation. Trust Rico is going to make us Rico. All right, PD, I see you with the wordplay there. Appreciate that. Hey, man, I'll draft more Dottle, and I will be thinking of PD when I get him. And if I have to take a stronger lean there, I'm going to start leaning Dottle, and I think you've made a really good case for that. But again, my exposure is very telling, I should say, of where I stand, and that's very split with that room. I mean, we mentioned, what was the room we just mentioned? Carolina, right? I can tell you very easily, look at Jonathan Brooks. I'm at 15% with Jonathan Brooks. And then Chuba, I got to scroll a little bit because I don't have as much Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, see, I know I've drafted him. Yeah, see, look at this, 4% Chuba Hubbard. So that's basically where it's at. There are rooms, backfields that I just have a stronger lean right now. For instance, the Chicago Bears, I think there's been a lot more people lately I've seen who really want a lot more Kyle Monangai, and they'll make the case with where he's getting drafted versus where DeAndre Swift is getting drafted. I'm more on the DeAndre Swift side of things. I do think that DeAndre Swift, to me, is the guy we should be targeting more. I feel as important as the run game is for the Chicago Bears, for Ben Johnson's particular offense, I think they're going to be a little bit more heavier pass game this year than they were last year. I think they are going to officially give more to Caleb Williams as he continues to improve in this offense. They're looking to add more to his plate. Therefore, that is kind of aligned with the way I'm drafting them right now. I have not been very fond of where Kyle Monangai has been getting drafted. That's not to say he's not good, but we're drafting him, look at it, in the 8th round here. I feel like I've been seeing him more in the 10th round. Now, I take him at times when I'm in need of running backs in the room. So again, it's not that I don't like the player. It's more of a price thing when drafting and considering ADPs. All right, we are seeing more quarterbacks, but we got a 2-4-4-2 build. We are back to being evenly balanced. I think we should start focusing in a little bit more at the wide receiver position. We'll take a look here to see what's out there. We've seen some tight ends come off the board. quarterbacks are coming off the board as well. Let's pull up and see what we got. So we got Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray here. Our wide receiver room still feels pretty strong, so we're going to lean in on that. Maybe we could get Jalen McMillan here. We can add Jawan Jennings if we wanted to double stack Kyler Murray here. Now, my thing with Kyler Murray is I've been leaning more that we need a third quarterback in these type of rooms, just simply because I think that when it comes to best ball, he's got more risk of getting benched. And there goes Jawan Jennings off the board. Actually, I'm going to pivot here. I'm going to take my guy Jonah Coleman, who I like to take a lot more now. And then we can either take Jalen or Flournoy, who gets taken there. We can go Adonai Mitchell over Trey Harris there. So I feel like we're in a good spot. All right, let's get McMillan. Yeah, we're going to take McMillan there. Perfectly fine with that. So we got a 2-5-5-2 build. Pull up the board here again. And then for running backs, we are at Henderson, Price, Dottle, Tracy, and Coleman. Feel a little better with this room, but I'll be honest, there's a lot of young guys in this room. So a lot of things have to play out for us, but upside wise, obviously you draft Henderson and you draft Jadarian Price due to the upside that they carry. I am 2% Brooks, 5% Chuba, which is a little scary, but I say, guys, that I don't like the playoff schedule for in BBM. Pittsburgh Wings. Yeah, man, but I also think as important as that is, in my opinion, I do obviously try to correlate these guys for their playoff schedule. And if you're just joining us for the first time and not aware of that, just playoff correlation goes based on how you advance out of these pods. So week 15, 16, and 17, week 17 being the big one, the finals, as you're all out here trying to chase the $2 million up top. We try to seek game environments. So those are the teams we kind of play with. But yeah, going back to what you said, I just think if Jonathan Brooks is as healthy as we hope, and we're really just betting on the talent, I think that he's in a great position in a Dave Canellis offense. I look at it, I'm not intrigued by the passing game. So if I'm doing more of a fade on the passing side of things, I'm going to lean one other way. And I do think, I think their offensive line right now, it's not where they want to be, but I think it's a lot better than people think it is. They did lose their left tackle last year, and they brought over, who was it that they brought over? See, it is passing me right now. I'm going to pull that up right now for them. It was from, was it the Green Bay Packers? Their left tackle. I'll pull it up, y'all, just to get that information correct here. But anywho, I just think run game wise, even the year before they had all those injuries there, they were starting to look a lot better when it came to the run game. We got to see a really strong year out of Chuba Hubbard, which netted him his contract. And then obviously we saw some good moments from Rico Dowdle. And I feel like that's kind of like how Dave Canellis runs his system a lot, especially if he's not leaning heavily towards his pass game. They do not feel very confident in Bryce Young, and it tells. So this is a big year for Bryce Young to try to prove something, because if not, their eyes are set in this upcoming draft. So that's going to play out well. All right, let me pulling up here their offensive line. It is Rasheed Walker. That's who they added. Yes, Rasheed Walker played for the Green Bay Packers. His name was escaping me. But they got guys like Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, who played a significant part in the run game. And then they got the rookie Monroe Freeling, who I actually liked a lot going into the NFL draft. I think he's going to be a huge addition to the team. Rasheed Walker, I believe he was like a 6th round pick, and he's exceeded for sure his talent. Now, you just need a consistent version of him to really get the best. But anywho, I just think that run game is a lot better. Run block is a lot better than people expect. All right, we're back up here. We're going to go wide receiver. See, I would love to take Pat Bryant there. We could. It doesn't hurt us here. Let's go ahead. We're going to take Pat Bryant here. Even though we got Jalen Waddle already, we did not get Bo Nix. And that correlated side of things, it's the Raiders, which we got Bowers, they got Buffalo, and New England. We got Travion Henderson, so we're stacked even though we don't have the quarterback in place. And then we have, I think this is a 3. Yeah, let's go Geno. I'm going to take Geno here. I personally think Geno is a fine pick later in the drafts. I think that offense is going to look a lot better. We already took Aaron Rodgers, and I'm fine without taking him. Fernando Mendoza is starting to move up here. I really missed it. We were just having a whole conversation there. So he just went round 15, and I felt for a few weeks he was falling in the round 17 and 18s, which was awesome. So I was taking a ton of him. I did mention, right, that I am currently, he is tied for my highest exposed quarterbacks. It's him and Caleb at 20% right now. So I do have a lot of Fernando Mendoza, and a lot of it has just been, I've been buying the dip on him. I think especially for best ball, he just works so good because the moment he plays and he's your quarterback 3 and you're getting a rookie with that type of upside, yeah, round 18 was a thing of beauty. Yeah, because he was falling because of the Kirk Cousins contract, and then, obviously everything was like leaning towards, although I still think Kirk Cousins is going to start the season, they were very bullish on this idea that maybe Mendoza doesn't play this year. And once you get that type of news, that's the perfect time to hop in one of these best ball streets and kind of jump in on all of it. As we've seen, we've been over here on our channel, been drafting a ton of Malik Neighbors. We're getting a lot of Neighbors in the 4th round. Now that we know he's healthy, Malik Neighbors is now going in the 2nd round. Sometimes you'll get him in the 3rd round. I think, let me say, you definitely get him in the 3rd round, and sometimes he kind of slides up in that 2-3 turn. But again, that is how this works for fantasy, for best ball, for all of that. So we get quarterbacks off the board here. So we got Geno Smith, another guy I've seen drop a lot, and I believe he's still on the board, is Kenyon Sadiq. He is not on the board, but there are so many different routes now. Geno's not really a guy I like to go unstacked with, but I am fine with. I don't hate taking someone like Mason Taylor. He's my quarterback 3. I am not pushing much there. We are stacked, though, with Dak and Kyler, which was very important. But like I mentioned, when I am drafting Kyler Murray, there is more risk. See, when you're drafting Kyler Murray in a home league, right, in a redraft league, there's so many different routes that you can go there, because if something were to happen, let's say worst case scenario was that he got benched, you can get rid of him without it impacting your team. But when you're drafting a best ball team and you get him, he becomes a 0 on your team, and that hurts you more than it does anywhere else. All right, we got a 3-5-6-2 build. We got a lot of the young guys here. We got Jeremy Bernard, who we just talked about recently, Antonio Williams. So some of these guys here have fallen really good into this area where we're drafting. Caleb Douglas gets taken there. Things have been really high on him. I think the decision here comes down to Antonio Williams or Jeremy Bernard. Now, again, I haven't been taking as much Jeremy Bernard here, but I honestly think that might be the route. Let's go Jeremy Bernard. Want to take more of him. And then, honestly, everything from the Jets right now, which is always crazy to pull up all their players. You guys know I draft a lot of Adonai Mitchell, Mason Taylor. But see, this tight end room, Brock Bowers and Jake Ferguson feel strong. I don't really like going 3 tight ends when I am at this position. The wide receiver room feels strong. I could go Braylon Allen. And honestly, I'm starting to think Braylon Allen would be nice. He is a bit there for stack purposes, right? He is receiving stuff. Started looking a lot better towards the tail end of the year. And to be honest, given the way this running back room is, I feel that was actually the best route to go. We have some strong wide receivers. I take him unstacked. I don't care, round 18. Okay, talking about Fernando Mendoza, best late round tight ends, Freiermuth, Dulcich, Njoku, Theo Johnson, and Jake Tondres. Jake Tonjes, yes, if you believe that George Kittle is going to be out a significant amount of time, I think he is definitely a decent player to get there. I would add Michael Mayer. Excuse me, Michael Mayer. I draft a good amount of Eric All. I think Eric All is interesting. If you don't want to draft Mike Gesicki, let me pull up the board here for you guys. Who are some other tight ends down there? But yeah, Michael Mayer. I've gotten a good amount of Michael Mayer. Theo Johnson, I do like. Sometimes I'll dabble with some Evan Ingram. Doesn't feel great, but again, you could do worse in round 18. There are some tight ends. Kobe Parkinson. I mean, if you have Justin Herbert, I'm fine with Charlie Kolar. And then like how you mentioned, David Njoku, Eli Raridan. A lot of these tight ends that I typically hit, PD, in these late rounds definitely are tied to the quarterbacks for sure. That usually feels like the best stacks. The one guy I have not taken a lot of is Eli Stowers. Now, I thought he had a really good year last year at Vanderbilt. There goes Jack Besh. I'm having a little bit more of an issue with thinking he's going to be play that pivotal of a role this year for Philly. And I could obviously be wrong, but where you're getting him there, it's really hard to really, make a case outside of that. What's up, Skullboy? Welcome to the stream. All right, let me go ahead, and I think I just did tell Jeremy that I might not hop on, but I might just do another BBM if you guys are down for it. If you guys want to draft alongside here, just sit tight. We're going to recap this, and maybe, just maybe, we'll hop on another one here. We got a 3-6-7-2 build. At quarterback, we got Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith. At running back, we got Trevion Henderson, Jadarian Price, Rico Dotto, Tyron Tracy, Jonah Coleman, and Braylon Allen. I feel a little bit better here, especially going early with these two young running backs. And then at wide receiver, we have Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, Matthew Golden, Jalen McMillan, Pat Bryant, and Jeremy Bernard. We got some bye week 10s, but I'm not too worried about that. Still feels like a pretty solid wide receiver room, especially with some upside from the young guy here. And then I expect Matthew Golden to have a much better year. At tight end, we have Brock Bowers and Jake Ferguson. Would have been nice to get a Fernando Mendoza, but again, Mendoza is climbing. All right, y'all. If you guys want to hop on, I'm going to do one more draft with y'all here. Let's go ahead and get another BBM. If you guys want to jump on here with me, I'll be drafting another one. Was not planning on doing this, but I love I love what we got right now. We're having a good time here. Let's go ahead, and we're waiting for 7 people. So you guys got some time here to jump on in. Let's go ahead and select it. Feel bad. My guy, Jeremy, wanted to hop on with us. Hopefully he jumps back on the stream and we can tackle this here together. Scobie says, so I am in a dynasty league. What rookies do you think I should try to get on my team? Also, do you think Kobe Young is worth picking up from waivers? Kobe Young. I am really interested to see Kobe Young. We got to see a little bit of him today. I'll be honest, I was back and forth on all these games. Kobe Young with Cincinnati. I know he was a big camp riser. The only thing with Cincinnati, right, is just how concentrated that offense is, right? You got T. Higgins, you got obviously Jamar Chase. I think for dynasty purposes, which is what you're asking, I think he's a perfect guy to kind of just add and see what happens. We did see this. What was it? Mitchell Tinsley last year. Saw him play really well. They seem to still like Yosheva, and we got to see a little bit of Yosheva this game as well. That's my only thing. If you're expecting to see something from him this year, I don't know. But like you said, this is a dynasty league you're asking the question for. I think he's absolutely worth stashing. I may have to consider it as well. I know I took Cyrus Allen once we started hearing more about his ascension right now in training camp. So, but yeah, no, I think that was a good question. Yeah, Kobe Young, I think he is worth picking up in waivers, especially if you have, I would hope, deep benches for dynasty. I've seen crazier things in the past. So which rookies do you think I should try to get on my team? Have you done a rookie draft yet? Because I think obviously there's quite a few I'm interested in. It really just depends where you're drafting. Obviously, outside of the main guys, I mean, if you can get Jeremiah Love and if you got the 101 for your rookie drafts, 100% lean there. Wide receivers, I do like getting guys like Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson. Unfortunately, I know we heard about the hamstring injury. That's the only thing that blows when going there. But yeah, no, we just did the main draft. Sorry, I'm also new to this, so that's why I'm asking. Oh no, you're good. You're good. So you did so this is your first year, correct? So this is a startup draft. Uh, so yeah, no, I mean, as far as the rookies go this year, I will say this: if you are set up in a good spot to make some trades and start landing some picks for next season, we are expecting a massive year for Dynasty. I would say drafts. I feel like most leagues are going crazy right now in doing trades. Currently, we are waiting for 3 more people. If you guys want to hop on, we are drafting one more Best Ball Mania here on Underdog. But yeah, going back, so boy, to your question, I feel like next year's draft is the draft everybody wants. We're going to get Jeremiah Smith, who's an excellent prospect, one of the best wide receiver prospects we've seen since like Jamar Chase and such. So we're getting some really strong talent. There's other good wide receivers like Cam Coleman and such. We're going to get some running backs in the mix. But yeah, that's the beautiful thing about Dynasty, right? You're definitely, I would say, the best recommendation for a Dynasty league is to aim for young guys. Oops, didn't mean to delete. I didn't see what you posted. But yeah, you just want to aim for young guys. That is what you're aiming for, when you're building those teams. Look at that. Joined a third one for you guys here, and we got the 101. Couldn't be happier right now. This is good stuff right here. We get the 101. If you've been watching my streams, literally start off most drafts saying the luck isn't here. And then just recently, I want to say a few days ago, we got back-to-back 101s, which felt great. It was at the end of one draft, and then the next day, the start of the first draft, we got the 101. So we're getting Jahmyr Gibbs, y'all. Very easy here. Need as much exposure. I do not want to continue to fall behind the 8 ball. I'm not going to get cute here. I think my Bijan Robinson exposure is pretty solid right now. It is up there mainly because of that, because I haven't landed as much of the 101 here. I refreshed this, and I'll tell you where we're at right now. And then we're going to be nice and go ahead and select him right away and not burn this clock. Hopefully we get a draft where people are selecting quick enough. We are Bijan Robinson. We're at 13.5%. So we're almost at 14%. And yeah, so we're in a good spot. We are in a good spot here. And let me go ahead and pull up the board for you guys here. Christian McCaffrey going 3. Okay, thanks. I got some good wide receivers. I have JSN, Pickens, Garrett Wilson, Nico. Oh yeah, you're stacked, man. That's a really solid group of wide receivers. You're in a good spot there for sure. P said meant to be, had to be, right? Getting on another draft. But I do feel bad for my guy Jeremy, who did hop on for a minute. I think he did say he was going to go and stream as well right now. But yeah, we are here. We are doing our third BBM of the night. The vibes are great. And with the vibes being so great, we ended up with the 101. So things are good. We got PD in the chat. He's very bullish on drafting Rico Dowdle over Jalen Warren. I like the case he made. It's a strong case. I agree with him, especially with the connection to Mike McCarthy. I've just been very split because I do believe both are going to play a strong role on their teams, one way or another. And both are getting drafted around the same area. But I like that there is a strong stance there. I think that is important, especially for backfields like that. Taking that stance and really feeling strong. Though other ones I do like, the stance that folks can take is rooms where we know they're not a split backfield, but you got the young guy, kind of like, let's say, for instance, you see the Tennessee Titans offense, and obviously this is an example, and you're not fond of Tony Pollard, and you go, hey, I'm going to take a lot of Singleton, because I think by the end of the year, Singleton is going to leapfrog Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard. Love those type of stances. And if you can tell yourself that story and you feel strong about it, that's honestly what sets you apart. Gibbs over Bijan. I think so. I think a lot of it with Gibbs and Bijan, you're really kind of splitting hairs in a way. But I think, yes, if I had to make the selection, I would take Gibbs over Bijan. I like both players. I don't think the gap is that wide, really. When it comes to the one-on-one, it's hard to fault anybody when making the selection between the two guys. But in this case, we are in best ball streets. I need this exposure on Gibbs a lot higher. I do not want to fall behind the 8-ball there. We'll never plan. It's almost like if you don't get enough one-on-one and you're not getting Gibbs, it feels like you're doing a complete fade. And sometimes that's not the case. You're just not lucky enough to get the one-on-one. Malik Neighbors goes there. We did not get him here in this back-to-back. Very unfortunate, because I was hoping to get him here. I feel that this is more the chalk route here, the Nico Collins, Rashee Rice. So let's go ahead and take Nico Collins here. And then I could do Devontae, or I could just take our guy Jeremiah Love. I'm going to do something different here. I want to get a little more Breece Hall. We got a ton of Jeremiah Love. I'm going to go ahead and take Breece Hall here. I don't think they're that far apart in terms of ranking them. And I like the drumbeat right now on Breece Hall for the Jets. I am a Breece Hall fan. I do think he's really good. I was actually very disappointed that the Jets kept him. I was really, really hoping Breece Hall ended up on another team. Bias here. Of course, I wanted him on the Bears with a coach like Ben Johnson. I thought Breece Hall would do wonders. And if you go back on Twitter and search Breece Hall and Bears, I think it was, if my memory recalls well, it was during the San Francisco 49ers game that the Bears played last year. I think it was week 15 or 16, if I'm getting that right. Breece Hall was actually live tweeting during that game, which was so strange, and he was talking up that Bears offense. So I thought, I had my fingers crossed, hoping that there was signs there that, hey, they're going to let him be a free agent this offseason, and he was going to come on over and sign with the Bears. Obviously, that's not the scenario that happened. The Jets actually valued him, and that's a good thing for a guy like Breece Hall to feel valued, got the extension, and now let's pull that up actually. Zane Danani was, he had put a lot of quotes on that. I'm going to look up Frank Reich right now, who is the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets. And it was, and speaking of Zane Danani, if you guys are just hopping on for the first time here, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button. Very important here. We're going to have a few guests on next week, one being Zane Danani. So if you guys are all over Twitter, he's been doing an excellent job over on X, Twitter, whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Zane Danani will be drafting here next Thursday with us at 9 p.m. Central. Really excited to have him here and getting some more intel and training camp information and breaking down some of what's been going on during the preseason as well. So there's been some really, really good stuff on that. I'm pulling this up here as we speak so I can give you guys a little bit of more of what that was. And then on Monday, we are going to have JSU back on the show, JSU from Run Pure Sports. So we're excited to have JSU back on the show. Should be a really, really good time here. And then I don't know what happened to my screen here. Having a little technical difficulties. But anywho, JSU will be on the show Monday. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Central. And then we're going to hop on over to Felix Castro's channel, which I'm really excited. DK Millie winner from season 2 over there on DraftKings. Won the big $1 million, first place winner. Really good stuff. We'll hear a little bit about his strategy, and then he'll hop on over our channel on Tuesday night. So anywho, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button. We got some exciting and fun things left up here Are we going to get our guy? Do we get our guy here? Would be really nice. Yes, we do. We get Luther Burden here. Love stacking Luther Burden with Jahmyr Gibbs. Feels great when you get to do that. Now here, I will say, I do like Terry McLaurin this year, but I want to take a little bit more of Mike Evans. I think one of the main reasons why he's not getting drafted higher has a lot to do with the fact that age, injury, substation, whatever you want to call it, whatever story you want to tell yourself right now, there's a lot of things that can play out there for it. But Mike Evans in the X row here for a Kyle Shanahan system is great. Not see this screen here. Let's see. Can I pull this up? Having a few issues. I'm going to have to look at another screen here for the chat. Do you have Chris Olave or Pickens? Man, actually, for my dynasty team right now, I did draft Chris Olave. Pickens was taken out already, but I do love Chris Olave. Obviously, the biggest concern with Chris Olave has been the concussions and his injuries, but I love Chris Olave, man. I love Chris Olave. I think he's going to have a big year in Kellen Moore's offense. And if you just pull up his box score stat, which is something we like to do here on this channel when we're on DK side, it's really cool to pull up all the stuff there because it's all set up for DFS purposes. So when you click it and you see the target shares and you see just all those monster wide receiver 1 games he had, you could just tell that the rapport with him and Tyler Shuck was looking good. But everything is contingent of how good Tyler Shuck is. What we saw in the second half of the year, I think he made a very prime case to be a rookie of the year. You know, Ted McMillan took over the rookie of the year, and rightfully so. But anywho, that is what we're going to lean in a lot. We know how good Kellen Moore's offense could be. And then they also drafted Jordan Tyson, which also helps. Nico Collins could be a 1-2 turn pick. He's been there before. Dude's a 10 target game lock with a high ADA. Yes, sir, he is. Now, I think a big part of why he gets taken where he gets taken, and in reality, it's still a pretty good spot, is a lot to do with CJ Stroud. If we got to see CJ Stroud repeat anything near his rookie season, then of course it wouldn't have been the case, right? Nico would be going much higher, and then obviously CJ Stroud would be as well. All right, we're about to come up here shortly. Go ahead and pull this up here. And we are a few picks away here. Seems like you guys are still good at seeing me. I'm having issues with one of my screen here. And of course, it's the one link to the stream. All right, we got Mike Evans, Luther Burden, Nico Collins, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Breece Hall. I feel really strong about these two running backs still here. We can go a few different routes here. Jalen Hurts goes there. Let's go ahead and take Caleb Williams here. Actually, I like to always have fun with the 7th round pick there. Let's take, I take a ton of DK Metcalf here. I hope that doesn't hurt me when it's all said and done. I like DK. I just really hope that it works for him in this offense. And then we're going to take Caleb Williams here to stack alongside Luther Burden. Then we get Jahmyr Gibbs. I like this start so far. Our guy Petey says prime start. It sure as heck feels like that, Petey. Feels really good. Feels really, really good. Let me see if I exit out of this. Do I get a better look here? Maybe. What is going on with my screen? Sorry, guys. Of course, on our third one, we start having issues here. Pulling up the board. Go ahead and try. We're a few picks away here. Sorry, y'all. My screen just started giving out. I'm going to see if I can. Because I'm not liking how it looks right now. What is going on? All right, I'm back here. Sorry, y'all. I am trying to get this fixed here for us. I don't know why I'm having so much issues. Hopefully, you guys are still good here and can see me. Let me pull this up here. All right, I think we're back. Are we back? Yes, are we back here? Yes. This screen was giving me a lot of issues. We are going to solve this and have a better part here. All right. Good thing we have the 101 and we had some time there to kind of play around with this. Thank you guys for being patient there. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Of course, when we add a third one, but listen, I am more than happy. We got a 101. That's always a good way to start things. Let me close some things here. And where are we? We're still a few picks away here. Again, thank you guys so much for hopping on. I appreciate you guys being here. We are on a third BBM. We did try to get in the last draft. Man, Jeremy, we were just talking about you. It was really unfortunate, man. At the very end, we were trying to, the vibes were high. PD will tell you the vibes were really high and we clicked. And then when we got on, we got the 101. So it was really meant to be. What's up, No Limit Soto? Welcome back, man. Appreciate you, as always, being on with us and hanging out with us here. And for those just joining us, welcome to the stream. We are in day 6 of 31 days straight of BBM drafts, or I should just say best ball drafts, because we draft everywhere and anywhere here at this point. But we are drafting all the way up to the NFL kickoff. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I mentioned, we have a lot of guests coming on next week, and we got a few others lined up. All right, we're back up on the board. We get all the running backs. I got to do this for my guy Petey. We always get our guy Blake Corum here, and we can still take him because we have back-to-back picks. I feel really strong about these wide receivers here. Stephon Diggs does intrigue me here, but because we are in this position, we might have to hold back from the guy I love. Let's get Brock Purdy. I got Mike Evans. Why aren't we taking Brock Purdy? See, these are those moments you got to stop yourself. You got to stop yourself from doing your my guy clicks. We have a ton of Blake Corum. He wasn't necessary there, but I did like the price that we were getting him. Brock Purdy made too much sense with the quarterback build we had. So we went with our guy. There goes Petey with the money signs and Rico. I'm going back to you, Petey, for that. So we took Rico Dottle there. Usually I click Blake Corum there, but we will take Rico for Petey being here and hanging out with us. I appreciate y'all and everybody else who's on the stream with us. Like I said, if it's your first time, welcome. Please like the video, support us by hitting the subscribe button and hitting that notification button. I mentioned we have a few guests on next week. We got Felix Castro, JSU from Run Pure Sports, and then we got Zane Donani, who I'm sure you guys have been seeing all over Twitter and X right now. He is the new fantasy analyst for Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life. He'll be on with us next Thursday. So we got some exciting stuff and hoping for even more big news to share with you guys. So please stay locked in with us here. We're having a good time here. This team is a top 5 in the portfolio for sure. Yeah, I'm liking this too, man. This is a really good start. Let's go ahead and read it off. We got some time here, right? We got Jahmyr Gibbs at the 101. We get Nico Collins. We took Breece Hall. And then we took Luther Burden, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf. We get Caleb Williams to stack alongside of Luther Burden. And then we get correlated with the week 17 and Jahmyr Gibbs. We get Rico Dottle and Brock Purdy to stack alongside Mike Evans. Mike Evans drops because he drops the way he drops. But in reality, Mike Evans, if I told you that Mike Evans could play at the very least 15 games, you would be drafting Mike Evans a lot higher. We're getting Mike Evans in this like dream spot here with San Francisco having the X receiver row in a Kyle Shanahan system. Oh, Brock Purdy's going to love him. Dejon Stribley getting taken a little higher. Look at this. This is part of the overreaction. I do think Stribley looked really good today, and all the noise that we've been hearing out of camp as far as what we saw, the little run we got to see him today, he really did look good, but he's going to start moving up, and so are many other guys. All right, we're back up on the board. We got a 2-3-4-0 build. We got to take George Kittle here. We got Mike Evans and we got Brock Purdy. Makes too much sense. Might have to take Jaden Higgins, although I've heard different things here about that pick. We could do Jaden Higgins. I don't mind Coker here, but we got to make a selection. I'm going to go Higgins here. We're hearing some really good things out of camp. We already have Nico Collins, so maybe we can add a third quarterback here with CJ Stroud. We'll see how that pans out for us. If so, that is a strong start in my opinion. Evans got no choice but to play. Yep. But man, substation, all that stuff, if you buy into all of it. I mean, at this point, it's not even a buy into it, right? It's legit. This stuff is legit. The guys that keep going down, man, it sucks to see Ricky Pearsall go down. I was really excited to see him this year. I really liked Ricky Pearsall coming out of Florida. I thought he was a really good player. And obviously, San Francisco felt strongly about him, drafting him where they drafted him. Petey says, Kittle and Evans, Hall of Famers for too cheap. Yeah, man. Well, the Kittle thing, right? And I like them there at pick 120. I am still in the belief that George Kittle won't be playing week 1. Obviously, the news we need is that he stays out of the PUP list. Things are looking good. He is practicing. He's out there. But I have this belief, and I could be wrong, and that's perfectly fine. I just think that game being in Australia, it would not surprise me if he ends up not going to that game, just due to him recovering and coming back from this injury. But if he does play, then obviously that's huge. And then where we're drafting him is way too low. George Kittle, obviously we know how important he is to the offense, not just as a weapon, but man, he's a damn good run blocker, really good blocker. He is very dependent on. This offensive line in general, in my opinion, could be a bit overrated. I do like a few guys. Obviously, Trent Williams, one of the best left tackles in the league. And then I like, what's his name? Dominic Pooney. I think Pooney's a really good player. I think he's going to be really good as he keeps moving on. But for the most part, like Kyle Shanahan has this thing where he can plug and play some offensive linemen. I always said this, like, could you imagine him with a more elite offensive line? I can't recall right now, but I know when he was with the Cleveland Browns, there was a good chance. I think he had Joe Thomas there with him, right? I would have to go back and look at all that. But I know he's been with some good offensive lines with Atlanta and such. But yeah, had he had a more elite offensive line, it would be crazy. You don't want to give him that much for sure. That's why every year I see John Lynch, and one of my guys, he usually hops on the stream. I'm not sure if he's on right now watching. He's a big Niners fan. We talk about this all the time. John Lynch drives me crazy with the way he drafts. Now he's guying guys like Kittle late and such, and Fred Warner and such. Like, those have been great picks, don't get me wrong. But some of the other picks he makes when on the board, and we've seen how bad some of those picks have turned out to be, have frustrated me so much. I wish they would have done more with the offensive line, but I guess when you're such an offensive genius like Kyle Shanahan, which he really is, you can do so much with what you have. Now, with a George Kittle tight end room, I feel like you can always add a little bit more to it. We're about to come up here, so I'm taking a look here at what pulls up. See, I don't hate Travis Hunter. We got to go. See, I get a lot of Jake Ferguson. Let me start adding a little bit more of Dallas Goedert. I want to add Goddard to this team. And then at running back, do we go double Eagles here? We can also go Jonah Coleman, who I also like to click. As far as the wide receivers that are still on the board, let's take Jonah. I like banking on some of these young guys here. We're going to go Jonah Coleman there, which is who we took. We did not take CJ Stroud. Wow, look at that. I failed, y'all. I had Jaden Higgins and Nico Collins, and I didn't even take CJ Stroud. That was a big miss by me. I still like the pickups we did, but man, that would have looked a lot better. See, I keep it real with y'all. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh yeah, that was the plan. I missed it. I could have taken CJ Stroud. It's always so hard, right? Because when you're picking here even by pick 144 and 145, right? getting a quarterback 3, even at the level of a CJ Stroud, because you got the stacks, still feels hard, man, to take, because you can still add more premium positions. You can still add more depth at those premium position, I should say, and feel better about it than determining in a what we call onesie position, right? Quarterback position that only starts one player. So that's the only thing that kind of like takes it away. And obviously CJ Stroud goes there. Feels bad because then I wouldn't have gone Jaden Higgins early on, but we continue to move. My guy said, hey, did you pay for using that Daniels thumbnail? I wouldn't be surprised if we get the season desist letter from his camp. That Jaden Daniels stuff is wild. Absolutely wild. And do not put yourself in the conversation with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow in college was so much better. So much better. One of the best quarterbacks, college quarterbacks to play. So, yeah. Dude, I am beating myself about the CJ Stroud move. It just makes sense with the way we were drafting there. So, that was a mistake and by me. It is what it is. We move forward. That is what we do when we draft. Maybe this team doesn't even need a quarterback 3. And we can kind of just stay locked in here. If so, there's still so many other routes to go. But yeah, anytime I stack like that, I feel better when I get their quarterback. PD says, for those 2 players, I think it might have been worth it. Honestly, you already had 2 stack QBs. You didn't need it too, in my opinion. Correct. I think I just took Jaden Higgins where I took them because he, honestly, to me at that point was the better wide receiver on the board. I still think this offense takes a step up in terms of the receiving game. And I think CJ Stroud does look a lot better this year. So I'm looking to see a much better year from CJ Stroud in return. Listen, if anybody wants this offense to do well, it's the defense, because they got a damn good defense, man. That defense is so good. The players like Will Anderson, I mean, they are stacked. They are stacked. So they need a bit of help for sure on the offensive side of the ball. All right, we're coming up here. Look at Pat Bryan moving up in the 14th round. The QB might be Davidson. I say like 30% chance in the later parts. Yeah. I can't agree there. Is this the first time I see Zach Charbonnet's photo here? I feel like they've added some new photos. Am I tripping? They've added some new photos, right? All right, we're about to come up here. And how do we recover from something like that? Well, there's so many different ways. We're going to take our guy, Adonai Mitchell, and then we are going to, let's see here, quarterback wise, we can still go a few different routes. We can I like the running back room right now. And I think we should take Flournoy here. Let's take Ryan Flournoy. I think he's a solid wide receiver 3. And then obviously you saw how good he played last year when CeeDee Lamb was down. He really took on that role and played lights out. He really did play so well. But I also think he's one of the better wide receiver 3s in the league. So take Ryan Flournoy there in round 15. Which I think will still do well. Kind of helps a little bit more this strong wide receiver room start that we have. And then now when we start doing the stack stuff like I did with Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins, I felt very strongly about getting another wide receiver there to kind of add to the room. This room needs at least like 8 wide receiver for sure. The tight ends that we have here are good. Don't hate going after another one. And then we shall see if we even go 3 quarterbacks. I like our running back room. See, this is a good point to be in my opinion, when drafting these kind of teams. So we got a 2, where are we at? A 2-4-7-2 build. So I feel pretty strong about our start. And I think we're off to a good place. I don't feel like an absolute need anywhere. And I like being there and I like feeling that. Now, we've talked about Fernando Mendoza here, and obviously I draft a ton of Fernando Mendoza. If we can get Fernando Mendoza here on our turn, I will purposely draft him in the 17th round just to keep the streak alive with round 17 Fernando Mendoza. If we get him, I would take him here. If not, I wouldn't force it. There goes a guy I love, Terrence Ferguson. Surprisingly, round 16, and I say that because he's jumped up so much. Where is my with my Terrence Ferguson bags at right now? I was drafting a ton of him. Yeah, I'm at 12%. I felt for a while I had a lot more, but obviously it's been hard to keep up with the ranges he's going in. He keeps moving up and down, but we're at 12%. I feel pretty good about that. And that 12% comes from like that 17th and 18th round types of kits. All right, we are a few picks away. We'll see if that scenario does play out for us here. Like I said, I feel pretty strong about where we're at, so we can look at other options on the board here. We could go Aaron Rodgers. Maybe we just do get our third quarterback here. I would only take Rodgers because we have DK Metcalf, and that's if we can't get Fernando Mendoza. At running back here, Jacoby Brissett goes. So we're going to get one of those two guys there, which I don't hate. That's actually a good position. So this is round 16 and 17. I like some of these wide receivers here as well. Again, depending on who they take here, they could take quarterback. We'll see, and then that will determine what we do next. All right, they did not take quarterback. Let's go ahead. We're going to take Fernando Mendoza here. And then let's see where we're at wide receiver. I like our running back room. I don't think there's a need. That's a solid 4 running back room. I don't have a lot of Jerry Jeudy's. Kayshon Boutte. Let's take some Rashad Bateman, because if he really is wide receiver 2, and I feel like there's a strong bet that he still could be, even given Jacoby Lane's ascending right now the way he has been. And I'm sure Jacoby Lane got to where did Jacoby Lane get taken? Because he's been flying up boards. Yeah, see, round 15. I'm perfectly fine with a round 17 Rashad Bateman. Perfect for best ball because he is truly a spike week guy. PD said Florida might be replaced if they don't bring him. Should be a good motivation ball. I faded the T Ferg regrettably. Yeah, man. T Ferg. I liked T Ferg last year, even going in as a rookie. Obviously, I didn't know the type of role he had, but I didn't draft a ton of Terrence Ferguson. I'm not trying to say that. I just, as a prospect coming out of college, there was a lot of intrigue there. I just think that what Terrence Ferguson brings, he's like a real weapon, right? On a team, when you look at guys like Brock Bowers, the Colston Loveland, and kind of like the skill set that they bring, right? Obviously, I'm not comparing them and saying that they're all at that level. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying play style wise, these are guys that can, in formations, they can go out wide. They can play wide receivers, a wide receiver role on their team for, and then when you're with Sean McVay, a guy like Sean McVay, he's going to draw up a lot of things. And if you paid attention too closely towards the end of last season, when Devontae Adams was out for a few games, I felt that the guy they went to the most, while everybody was trying to figure out, is it Jordan Whittington? Is it, so-and-so? And they were kind of going down that route. It looked like Terrence Ferguson was actually coming in a lot more for that Devontae Adams role, which was really cool to see. And if there's someone you can trust when it comes to those things, it's Sean McVay, for sure, 100%, which is one of the reasons why I was drafting him where I was drafting him. Another guy like that, in my opinion, that has like a play style similar to that could be run out in many different types of formation, is Elijah Arroyo. And he went viral, I think, yesterday due to a really nice highlight of his. Elijah Arroyo, who played at University of Miami, showed off a lot of that style. So that's another guy to consider in terms of just having that type of skill set. We'll see how that looks. They had a lot of hype around him last year. He was actually a second round pick too. I expect to see a little bit more of him. I need to catch up on the Seattle Seahawks training camp, or Hard Knocks, I should say. I want to see that. I'm always a fan of Hard Knocks, and I'm sure they've already talked about him at this point. I have 4% now, so a little better. Yeah, just a little bit better, man. All right, tight end. We're going to do this because we got Fernando Mendoza. We're going to take our guy, Michael Mayer. So this is an option, and I'm going to hold him here because is Mike Washington gone? Probably because of what he did today. So Michael Mayer In this case, I usually like to say as the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, possibly Mr. Relevant. And in this case, if you know how I do draft a lot of Michael Mayer. Where am I in Michael Mayer bags? I am currently at 6%. So adding this to my 6% right now, that tells you I feel pretty strong about Michael Mayer's row. All right, guys, let's recap this team. This is my third BBM. If you guys are just joining us now, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button. We got a lot of exciting things coming up soon. Got a lot of guests here. Let's go ahead and recap this team. We got a 3-4-8-3 build. We ended up drafting from the 101. We have Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy, Fernando Mendoza. At running back, we got Jahmyr Gibbs, Breece Hall, Rico Dotto, and Jonah Coleman. At wide receiver, we got Nico Collins, Luther Burden, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Jaden Higgins, Adonai Mitchell, Ryan Flournoy, and Rashad Bateman. A pretty solid wide receiver room. We got Luther Burden to stack alongside of Caleb Williams. And then we got Mike Evans and George Kittle to stack with Brock Purdy, two of his biggest weapons, two guys, especially now with Ricky Pearsall no longer being there. I personally expect to see big jumps for them. And obviously, we're hoping for a very healthy George Kittle season. And then at tight end, we got George Kittle, Dallas Goedert, and Michael Mayer to stack alongside our guy, Fernando Mendoza. I think that was a pretty solid draft. I think the last three were pretty good. Had a really good time here with y'all. We did a 13. Typically, I've been doing 2, but we did our 13. The vibes were high, and with the vibes being so good, we ended up with a 101 on that third BBM. Make sure to swing by tomorrow. We'll be here. We are drafting every single day until the NFL kicks off. We are here around this same time at night, so about 11 p.m. Central. And then, like I said, next week, Monday, we are going to have JSU from Run Pier Sports on the show with us, drafting alongside of us. That's going to be an 8 p.m. Central show. So make sure to hit that notification button, as well as the other things, the subscription and the like of the video, to stay locked in there. But that is at 8 p.m. Central next Monday. Then I'm hopping over to Felix Castro's channel. Then on Tuesday, Felix is going to be hopping on with me here around 11 o'clock. And then next Thursday, when we have Zane Danani, who's going to be with us. Really excited to have Zane on the show. That's going to be, I believe, 9 p.m. Central. So just stay locked in. But like I said, if you're watching us and you're hanging out with us every night, I'll make sure to keep reminding you guys the times that we hop on. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Had a great time tonight. And looking forward to the next couple of days as we continue to draft every single day until the NFL kicks off. You guys have a great night. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.